about ethical dilemmas with your hosts, Jamie Christ and Oral LEBER. Good evening, Oral.
Good evening, Jamie.
Oral.
Jamie.
As you know,
Yes.
on this podcast, we look at ethical dilemmas in the workplace, at home,
Everywhere.
in life, and we break them down
Yes.
and see who's at fault and what could have done better.
Yes.
Most of these examples come from your life, Oral.
Well, yes, I have quite a few ethical dilemmas in my life. I've got there's a lot of things that are just not right with just anything in my life. My life's a mess.
It is a mess,
My life's a mess, Jamie.
but it is a cash cow.
It is great for work, but horrible for me personally.
But that's why we admire you so much, Oral. You're a trooper.
I am.
You plow on with stiff upper lip,
I am.
and you trudge on through your daily life as if you were a real human being.
I do my best. I'm honestly 9 times out of 10, most days, like 98% of the time, I'm just a muddy pile of emotional goo.
A muddy pile of emotional goo.
But I persevere.
You persevere.
I move on.
You move on.
Onward and even. Not upward.
No.
I never go upward.
Never
It's just
upward.
Onward and even. Straight
This is
forward.
our 698th show, and you've never shown any form of improvement,
Never.
either socially, intellectually,
Or ethically.
or ethically.
No. Most of the poor ethical choices that have been made have been choices that I've made.
I remember when it was time for your daughter, your oldest daughter,
Yes.
to go to school.
Yes.
And it was like, your dilemma was, will I pay for her college, or will I buy that Camaro?
Yes.
And you bought that Camaro.
I did, but then I gambled it. I gambled it on a horse race between 2 horses.
One named Camaro.
I had a 50-50 chance of winning.
Right.
2 horses. One horse named Camaro. The other horse was named Glue.
And Glue, by a neck,
Glue
took
by
that
neck.
race, and thereby took your Camaro.
Took my Camaro. Took my daughter's college dreams.
And what is precious Portia doing now?
Portia's actually she kills people for a living.
Oh, she's
Yes.
a hit person.
She's a hit person. Yes.
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 She does a fantastic job. I think I may have inadvertently found her true calling.
Really?
Yes. Unintentionally, obviously.
Obviously. Because everything you do is unintentional.
Unintentional. I take a thing and I make it worse.
That's right. The good, the bad, the ugly of your life turns into something unintentional.
Yes. Yes, she murders people. I hope one day not to be on her list.
Not to be on her list.
I know.
That is a wish we shall all wish for.
Yes. I get text messages from her occasionally that says, "Father, you're still on the list."
Oh. So there's a timetable to this list.
But I hope that at some point her forgiveness will kick in. I hope at
Or
some
the
point.
forgiveness of the person who's possibly paying for your demise.
I'm quite sure that the person paying for my demise is her. I believe that she has contracted herself to search me out and kill me.
Have there been clues?
Yes, because she's like it just says my list, and it's just got my name on top.
Ah.
Yes. And it says in parentheses paid for by Portia. So I'm quite sure that it's just Portia's. I think she's got some problems. She's got some anger things going on.
Sure, of course.
She's got a bit of anger towards me. Still.
Those Porsches run hot, do they not? Anyway, we are here in San Antonio.
Oh, yes.
For the Big Little Comedy Fest.
Big Little Comedy Fest. It was so odd because I thought comedy is not what we do.
Not what we do
We're
at
not
all.
funny at all.
We are not funny. There's nothing clever about us.
We are farthest from funny that anyone could ever be. If you imagined funny and then you attempted to place us somewhere in the funny vicinity, it would be an entirely different galaxy, a complete different solar system.
Absolutely. If you looked up funny in the encyclopedia, you would most certainly not see the names Oral and Jamie.
No. You would no. Our names would be nowhere close to that.
But here we are.
Here we are. At the Big Little Comedy Fest. Warmly welcomed.
Warmly welcome.
Gladly invited.
So many ethical dilemmas here at the Big Little Comedy Fest.
You know, apparently they do all types of comedy here. They do improv comedy. Stand-up comedy. Sketch comedy.
Sketch comedy.
Or is it sketchy comedy? I'm not sure.
It looks pretty sketchy.
It all seemed a bit sketchy. There was a lot of ethics, just a lot of ethical conundrums that were being tossed about here and there.
So many suggestive situations.
Oh.
So much, there's so much murder. You would think, you go to any healthy audience and you ask for a suggestion, and you would think, oh, flower. Or school.
Of course, school. Concrete.
But no, those are not the suggestions over here.
No.
At the Big Little Comedy Fest.
No, Big Little Comedy Fest, it's murder. Death. Strangulation. I was thinking about my honeymoon.
I was thinking about your honeymoon as well.
It was, yes. All those things were involved.
Death.
Murder.
Strangulation.
All three. Big Little Comedy Fest.
Big Little Comedy Fest.
Such a proud tradition.
Time honored.
It's been going on for the decades or
nigh on a decade.
Almost, yes, possibly 3 years in San Antonio. Before that,
18 different states.
It's amazing. I believe they were in Zimbabwe one year.
Yes.
Zimbabwe. That was a unique show there because there was no stage.
There's no stage.
It was an outdoor show.
And no comedians.
It was a gladiatorial combat.
Yes.
To the almost death. Again, that brings into the question of ethics. If you've gotten someone to almost death,
right,
should you just go ahead and complete?
Well, let's talk about that.
All right.
If you've got somebody to almost death,
yes,
let's break it down for a person who might not be in the gladiatorial comedian improvisational field.
So, gladiatorial improvisational comedian field. You take that person, you've got them almost to the point where they're ready to die.
Yes.
Of laughter.
Of
joy. Of humor. Or just death. Real true death.
Well, let's move that to, say, the workplace.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I get a little choked up when the workplace is brought up.
You've never held down a job.
Never held a job. Never.
This is the most you've done of anything in your life.
Exactly. And the only reason I do this well, the only reason I've managed 698 shows is because we've never been paid.
Yes. I'm sure that if you had been paid, at some point you would have fucked things up enough to where you would have been fired.
Completely, 100%.
But there's nobody here to fire you.
No, it's just you and I.
And therefore, we can move on with show 698.
698.
So you move the suggestion to the workplace. So let's say Joe America.
Mm-hmm.
Joe America is working at his textile plant.
Oh, like they do in America.
America is lousy with textile plants.
There's a textile plant on every block.
You cannot swing a dead cat without hitting a what?
Textile plant.
Walk
around the corner of the street. You know what I saw here in San Antonio?
Let me guess. I'm raising my hands, teacher. Will you call on me?
Wait. First, I saw a Starbucks.
You did see a Starbucks.
Then I saw a McDonald's.
Then a McDonald's, yes.
Third thing I saw?
Textile plant.
Yes.
So, Joe America, working in this textile plant, day to day, 9 to 5, putting in the hours, hoping for some sort of social security that will never come. And one day, a textile falls on Joe America. That's right. And he is near death.
Near death.
And his workmate, Andy Chicago.
Andy Chicago. That's a quite common name
Yes.
in America.
It is indeed. That's why it was on the tip of my tongue.
Andy Chicago.
Andy Chicago walks by. Now, Andy Chicago, not a fan of Joe America. No, the only thing that stands between Andy Chicago and his promotion is a little person named Joe America. And I'd like to caveat, Joe America is not a little person. I was just being, what's the reverse of hyperbolic?
Unhyperbolic.
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 Unhyperbolic. So the only thing standing between Andy Chicago and his promotion is Joe America. What does Andy Chicago do, finding Joe America nearly dead
Near death.
underneath a giant textile?
That is an ethical conundrum.
Is it not?
It is. On the one hand,
On the one hand,
there's a possibility that he could be saved.
he could be saved. Perhaps Andy Chicago could heave in a moment of great strength this giant textile off of Joe America.
That's entirely possible. I've seen videos of things like that were done where pregnant mothers lifted up cars off their unborn babies.
Off unborn babies.
It was incredible. I've seen those videos, and you can't fake those.
You cannot fake those.
So yes, Joe America could be saved.
Could be saved.
Could be saved.
Or
Andy Chicago.
Let me posit this.
Yes.
Andy Chicago could do nothing. Is Andy Chicago committing murder by doing nothing? That is the ethical dilemma.
That's the ethical dilemma. If Andy Chicago sees an opportunity where he could save someone, and yet he makes no effort, is he guilty of murder?
What say you, Oral? Because we know whatever you say will be the wrong answer.
Yes. Well, according to the courts, after my honeymoon, no, not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty of murder.
That's right.
Not guilty of murder. According to the court system.
You did not lift that giant grandfather clock off of your wife.
I did not.
You chose not to.
I did not.
You claimed you were otherwise attended to.
I was otherwise attended to. You know my bathroom cycle.
Oh, yes. You plastered your bathroom calendar all over the studio.
Of course, I make it
ethical
known.
dilemmas.
I make it known when I am in the bathroom, I am not to be disturbed, no matter what.
And the judge saw all the texts. Help! I'm under the giant grandfather clock. Please ignore your bathroom cycle and come save me.
What kind of savage ignores a bathroom cycle? What kind of horrible monster asks someone else to ignore a bathroom cycle?
That is a question for our great creator, and not a question for me, humble Jamie Christie.
That was the question for the court.
That was a question. And they said not guilty.
They said not guilty.
So, I'd like to create a little teaser here. We're not going to give our final adjudication just yet. Let's talk a little bit about our sponsor for today.
Oh, our sponsor, Daventry.
Daventry Financial Advisors and
Asbestos makers.
That's right. Daventry. Now, mesothelioma. As we all know, one of the great hoaxes America has put upon society in general.
Americans have fabricated a story of an aggressive cancer that wipes out people from the inside tremendously after laying dormant for several years. And once it's discovered, there's such a short time period between the discovery time and the death time. What kind of scientific nonsense rabble is that?
Rabble indeed.
It's just ridiculous. When you have cancer, you know it for years.
That's right.
For years.
When I had cancer, I knew immediately that I had cancer.
That's, yeah. You have you're very in touch with your own body.
I am. And cancer doesn't wait to tell you.
No.
It tells you right away.
It does.
So please, go ahead. If you bought a new home,
Yes.
first of all, use their financial advisors
Oh.
to make sure you're getting the best rate. And then when you do, and you look up above, and you see that popcorn ceiling from the late 60s, questionable at best, and people say, you should wet that down before scraping it off. Tell them, don't worry, I use Daventry. Daventry will protect and prove that mesothelioma is a hoax and that anything can be ingested through the nose and not cause cancer.
100%. Mesothelioma.
Mesothelio, no.
I was going to say mythothelioma.
Both would have been good.
Dear goodness, Daventry, thank you. Thank you for investing my money and showing me that false cancers are falsehoods.
Yes, FCs. But back to the ethical dilemma in question.
Ethical dilemmas. What if, let's say, hypothetically, what if someone was not invited to a certain function or situation, and they just happened to pop up anyways?
Okay.
And I don't know, then maybe while they were there, they perhaps just decided to perform or do some type of thing.
This is purely hypothetical.
Purely hypothetical. 100%.
So these people, these intruders, have waltzed their way into some sort of social situation.
Yes.
Uninvited.
Unannounced. Unwanted.
Yet still, they lay claim to land.
Yes.
And stake out their case and perform whatever perfunctory exhibition that one might.
Exactly. Perhaps they would come in and perhaps set up a circus.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Or perhaps they may come in and I don't know, perform a play.
A play.
Like one of those flash mobs, a dance mob. Maybe they do that.
Yes, of course.
Yes, maybe they come in and just start singing like a giant choir.
Like a choir.
Uninvited choir performance.
Yes.
Or maybe, they sneak into a festival and
you say?
Do a podcast.
And do a podcast.
Yes, completely uninvited.
Okay. So, let's say that this happens.
Yes. And this is occurring.
And
they're, wonderful gentlemen.
They're gentlemen in this hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking. These are gentlemen performing some sort of podcast.
Yes.
At a festival.
Yes.
Of what?
Oh, let's say comedy. Let's say it's a comedy festival.
Very topical. See, we are at a comedy festival.
I know, ironically.
That's probably where the thought came from.
Yes. Let's say they're at a festival of comedy where they do improv and stand-up and sketch, those types of things. Yes.
So, the question is, are they ethically
wrong?
Or are they ethically
not quite wrong?
Well, let's think about this. Are they hurting anybody?
Well, in all honesty, probably no one is actually listening to them actively. Perhaps later on, as podcasts are wont to do.
Right, and even if so, those numbers are in the low single digits.
Yes, single digits. So no one is actively at that moment in time listening to them. And then if someone does happen to listen to them later, it's a very small amount of people.
Very small amount of it.
Ridiculously small amount of people.
I feel like I know this hypothesis.
Again, completely. I've just created this ethical conundrum out of my own brain.
Yes.
My imagination. And so that, are they hurting anyone? Currently, no. And again, in the long run, it's not going to be listened to, probably.
Right.
Only by a certain special few folks. So, No, there's no harm.
There's no harm.
No harm. As the Americans would say, no harm, no foul.
That's a very good American
Thank you.
impersonation.
Thank
Can I
you.
try mine?
Yes. Do goes.
Howdy, cowboy.
Oh.
Oh, hello.
Oral, Jamie, I told you you couldn't do this. We're doing a festival right now.
Are we being too loud?
Yeah.
Come out of the closet. Come out of the closet.
This is.
You know what?
We're on the main stage. That's so funny that you would say that we're in the closet when we are clearly on the main stage.
Yes, so sorry.
Hey guys, I'm sorry.
There's so many.
Stop making noise, okay?
Oh, yes, we're done.
Yes,
We're sorry, we don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
Sorry. So hypothetically, just wondering, would they be in the wrong?
Would they be in the wrong? I say no.
I say no as well.
And that's ethical dilemmas for this week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oral LEBER, for being my confidant and best friend nigh these 698 shows.
Thank you, Jamie Christie, for just always being there for me, always being there to point out how horrible my life is.
That's right.
To make me every day feel a little bit worse about my decisions, my choices, and just about myself.
Yet, always being a character witness in the trials that inevitably befall you.
Yes. If there's anyone I can have by my side in my trials of life, it's you.
Ethical dilemma.
Ethical dilemma.
Thank you, San Antonio.
Thank you. Big Little Comedy Fest.
Big Little Hashtag BLCF
2020.
2020.
Yes.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.